Hello everyone and welcome to a little bit of a different video today. Today I thought it would just be fun to go and review my my time trials timesheet as of when the version 1.2.0 patch dropped. All of these times were set on version 1.1.2 or earlier. And actually most of these are still current. I have not played that many tracks since the update dropped for, you know, various reasons. But yeah, this is still overall a pretty, at least as of recording, accurate representation of my timesheet. So I figured it'd be fun to, since version 1.2.0 changed how boosts work, I figured it'd be good to go and, you know, document this, react to these. I haven't seen a lot of these in a long time. I didn't really watch them as I was editing, putting this video together, so this will be fun for me as well to go back and see. As you can see, Mario Bros. Circuit is currently, you know, playing right now, and I would talk more about the runs. I will be talking more about the runs in the future, but, you know, just for the start of the video, just to get all the formalities out of the way. Yeah, so the first thing I did when, I guess I should get this out of the way. I don't think there's anything too interesting here on Mario Bros. Circuit. This is still a bunch of old strategies. I have yet to set a run with any of the current strategies. So this is very improvable, but this is, you know, a pretty good time for the strategies used. So I was fairly happy with it when I set it. So yeah, motivation for this video. When I found out that the way trick boosts were changed in 1.2.0, I was like, let me go and record all of my current PBs, and I thought it would be fun to just kind of document, you know, different stages of where the game was at and where my play was at, and those different stages of the game. So yeah, that's kind of what spawned this video. Solid 153 on Mario Bros. Circuit. Now, I have gone and set up all of these intro cards on the left there that will fade out right as the race begins. You can see what track it is, what my PB was, as well as the splits, and when I set the time. I put the splits there because Mario Kart World, for some reason, is very adamant about not showing you your splits, especially lap 3, or whatever the final lap or section of the course is. And so I figured it would just be nice to have an on-screen visual of just like, here's how fast my run is, you know? This is information that time trialers keep track of, and, you know, it's very nice to know for, like, theoretical human limits, or whether or not a new strategy that you're implementing is actually faster. Things like that. So Crown City, I think, is actually one of the tracks I have come back and played. I like this track a lot. I think I have a 207. As of recording. This is a 208. As you can see, a little bit of some older strategies. Again, this is before the trick boost change. But yeah, this track, I mean, I love the music, I love the layout, just everything about this track is very nice to play. It's one of the tracks on my list that I want to play a little bit more, get a little bit better at. I need to learn stuff like the edge tricks here, and this phantom trick that's coming up that I don't get in this run because I didn't even know it existed. And then, of course, you see all the world records do this billboard strat on the left side here now. But yeah, I mean, this is overall still a pretty solid Crown City run. Like I said, I haven't seen these in a while, so part of this video is just going to be me reacting to my old times. Some of them, I guess, are still my current times, but I mean, when did I set this one? I know it's on screen at the beginning, but I have my timesheet pulled up just in case. Oh, I set this on the day the patch came out, so I must have just gotten this in there. Little missed curve trick at the end, that's a little unfortunate, some time lost, but overall fun track. Whistlestop Summit, I set this July 23rd. Okay. Whistlestop Summit is a very, very difficult track to play. And you'll see what I mean as my ghost plays. This track is very fun. It's also very frustrating. By far, well, yeah, I think I will say it's the most technical track in the game. because there's so much stuff that you're always doing, and I kind of took the cheap way out with that turn skip. Just like being willing to like latch onto the wall. You're not really supposed to latch onto the wall there, but it makes it a lot easier to make it across the gap. And if you're still willing to use the mushroom for recovery, then I don't see a reason that like you shouldn't be going for that, at least if you're just trying to set a time, right? So yeah, I don't do this red rock strategy. I know that it exists. I've never pulled it off once, and I haven't. Admittedly, there are very few tracks that I put a ton of time into. And Whistlestop Summit is not one of them. I've put enough time into the track. This is a very good turn here. I decide not to use the mushroom, which you'll see why in just a second here. Because I'm still not very consistent at this ending strategy right here. So I can usually count on myself to make it like twice at least in a run. So just having one shroom for the end cut as kind of like a backup is where I'm currently at with the course. But yeah, back to just kind of spending time playing the courses. This is a lot of the courses in this game I actually have not played that much of. I've played maybe like, I don't know, 3 to 4 hours at most, which is not a lot of time. It's enough time to learn like kind of advanced strategies, like this one, and I'm very glad I made that on lap 3, because if I didn't, then I would have to reset. It's enough time to learn like some of the advanced strategies, but not really enough time to master them. And so I think that's where you'll see a lot of these times are at. Like I'm using some of the more advanced strategies and techniques, but I think DK Spaceport is probably going to be another good example of this, because I think the world record at the time when I set this was maybe a high 130. I don't remember. Maybe it was a low 131. Regardless, this is like at least a second and a half behind record. And so, I mean, I guess just in short, this is what someone with a decent amount of skill at the game, what their timesheet might look like after the game has been out for about 2 months. Yeah, so you'll see, yeah, I mean, I'm quite happy with this timesheet overall, just to kind of, I guess, get that out of the way. Yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with this timesheet. I mean, it obviously could be better, right? I'm not the greatest player in the world. I know I'm not the greatest player in the world. Like this section, I did this section wrong, and I think I remember watching it back. Like I did the trick pattern on that rail section incorrectly. It ended up working out, which is nice, but I mean, obviously, like areas for improvement. And most of these, right, I still have free time save with the trick boost patch, trick boost buff. So that, I mean, it's only a matter of time before I smash all of these, right? But anyway, what I was saying about some advanced strategies, like kind of the basics of the advanced strategies, but not really enough to really master any of them yet. And I think that's going to be kind of a recurring theme. I did want to have a goal that like most of my time should be within, I don't know, probably like 2 to 3 seconds off world record, ideally. Which is the case for some and not the case for others, like Desert Hills here. I just don't like this track very much, if I'm being so honest. It's the track I'll play once to get a time, and then, you know, I'm happy. I don't need to play this track any more than that. I felt the same about it in Mario Kart DS, I felt the same about it in Mario Kart Wii. Like, it's okay, it's fine, it does its job. But it's nothing special, in my opinion. And so there are a lot, I guess just there are a lot more tracks that I would prefer to be playing. Again, not that Desert Hills is a bad track. I don't think there's a single bad track in this game. There are tracks I don't like, right? There are tracks I don't like nearly as much as others, but I don't think any single track in this game is bad. Which is very good. That's very good for the game, to have a full roster of 30 tracks that all are like viable to be chosen, either to be played in TTs or picked online or, you know, what have you. So I know I haven't talked about the runs very much, but I think there's just a lot of stuff that I wanted to get out of the way. You know, with I guess the format of the video and things about the patch and you know, all these other like preliminary things. And to be honest, a lot of the tracks that I actually have played are not very early on. Have played as in, like, obviously I've played all the tracks, right? I'm making a timesheet video. But I mean in terms of, like, the ones that I've played extensively, the ones that I have experience on, the ones that I've poured a lot of hours into. Those will be coming, you know, later on into the video. Starting probably with Star Cup, I would say. I don't know. They'll pop up here and there. Well, I could maybe make a case for this track, Shy Guy Bazaar. So, funnily enough, like, there were a couple... Also, I realized that my capture card picked up those little, like, crackles every now and then. I don't really know why that is. They're semi-infrequent, so I didn't really care to fix it. But I'm sorry if that bothers you. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So, probably like week 1, I was like, there are going to be tracks that are going to be picked in Lounge, or competitive, or Wi-Fi, or whatever. Like, there are going to be fan favorites, and I think this is going to be one of them. And I want to play this because it's going to be a fan favorite, and I'm going to need to know how to play it online. And when I set this time, this is a 155, right? This is a 155.7. This was like a little over a second off of world record when I set this. I was very happy with this time. I mean, since then, you know, there have been strategy changes, and the record has come down another, like, 3 seconds or so. And then, you know, the boost, the trick boost change as well. But this is a track that I did pour a decent amount of time into. Obviously, this beginning, you don't come up here at all anymore. And it's not even a Toadette blooper track anymore. It's like Biddy Bud Mock Rocket, I think, now. But yeah, I was very happy with this when I set this. I don't remember if I set it on stream or not, but, you know, I watched Zay's record. Zay had the record at the time. I don't remember if he still does. But, you know, tried to absorb the strats and then kind of pooped out this run after a little while. I guess you saw the date on that record. That personal best was June 16th, yeah, so I haven't touched that track in a while, but it is one I should go back to because I think it is still pretty popular. And, you know, like, my outdated strats will do me fine, but it would be good to update my arsenal. Speaking of tracks I need to learn, this is definitely one of them. Now, granted, I know this is still pre-Trick Boost patch, and so some of the strategies I don't know if were faster before the update 1.2.0 dropped. But this is another track that's really popular, and I kind of know how to play this one. I can do about the first third. Like this sequence I'm decently practiced at. I know how to do. I can do online, including the version with the left trick here, which is very nice. It's a lot faster. And then right about here is when I start to, like, freestyle in a way. I don't really know how to do. I have never done the shortcut to the right where you climb that wall shroomless. I think I set this time also before that was really a thing. And so maybe they had some other strategy that they were doing there, but I think I remember deciding that just taking that straight out was the best way for me to go about this time. This run beat my prior PB on Wario Stadium by over 11 seconds, and there's still a lot that I can shave off here. I guess it's just one of those cases of, like, I haven't poured that much time into the track. Enough to get, like, a solid... I mean, this time isn't really even that solid anymore, right? Enough to get, like, a time I was okay with, but nothing to really, like, push my limits on this track. And so... I mean, I have different priorities now for when I want to go back and play all of these. But, you know, I will go back and play every single one at some point, just because, you know, I can save time on every track because of the boost change. So, yeah. Airship Fortress now. I have a 158.8. I think I remember setting a 159 and being happy with that, and then I think I came back just for more practice. I think I was, it was probably like I was not doing very well at this course on Wi-Fi in like competitive events in Lounge, and so I was like, I need to play this track again. And so I think that's why I came back and got a 158. And it's funny. Some of the things that you like kind of lab out in TT, it's like sometimes they help you on Wi-Fi, sometimes they don't. And this track, funnily enough for me, I don't think it really helped. Because what I took away from my TT session was like, okay, I can do all the fast strategies. It's more like I end up in positions on Wi-Fi that like I don't work out of well, and so that's a skill that can't really be fixed through TT. And that's just a skill that I have to, play more races on Airship Fortress on, obviously with some kind of strategy to try to fix the problem, right? Because if I just throw my head at a wall trying to fix the problem, I'm not going to fix it. But yeah, I mean, this track is pretty fun. It's not my favorite in the game to TT. There are tracks with rail strats that I like better. I mean, this path switch is very cool, as is the whole beginning sequence here. Like, this is very fun to play. But, kind of starting here, I was like, yeah, I mean, this track is good, right? This track's good. But I'm not crazy for it. Like, definitely a top half in the track, top half track in the game for sure. I mean, just because I like a lot of the tracks in this game. Just because something is top half does not mean it's like mediocre by any means. This track is good, but like I think most of the tracks in this game are good. So, I'm gonna have to put some below others just because they're all very, very nice tracks to play. DK Pass this time 205.7. Obviously, I guess you can tell by the character choice. I came and learned the wall ride strat here to come and get this. This is a run that I have watched a little bit. And I remember there are a lot of mistakes in it still. That wall ride is very good. This wall ride's okay. I get a little too much right momentum there. But, for a run where I was trying to figure out the wall strategy and really trying to learn a version of the trees there for the first time, I think it's I think I did a pretty okay job. I think what is it? World record now is just below a 201. So I mean, obviously I have time to cut off here, but one of the things that I have learned by playing some other tracks that we'll get to later is that I just don't have the sheer number of hours in half of these in order to really set a super competitive time. And so I will get hours on every track at some point. It's just impossible with the game being out for 2.5 months now to really sink that deep into every single course in the game. There are some courses that, if you decide to dump those hours and hours and hours of practice into, it's going to come at the cost of other courses where your PB might not be as good, or you're not as experienced, or you don't, know the strategies nearly as well. And on the flip side, if you decide to be, more well-rounded, you're not super proficient at any one track, right? And so neither of these are bad things per se, right? Everyone has different goals with the game, and how you play the game, especially TTs, is very not indicative. I mean, you can tell by how someone TTs what their goals are, but I'm trying to go the other way around. The way you TT is influenced by the other way that you want to play the game. So anyway, all that to say, I don't have that much hours in DK Pass. I want to come back here. I want to get a better time. And that's about that. Let me take a little bit of water here. I've been talking for 20 minutes straight, which is something I don't do that often. Starview Peak time. So I was very surprised to find out that most of the track that I thought was road is actually terrain. Yeah, even though there's this little visual, if you look at the wheels, Wario's wheels right now, well, 2 seconds ago, I thought those snow-covered tires were indicative of where the terrain was. You'll see it again right about now. Yeah, they're covered in snow, you see that? I thought that was indicative of where the terrain on the course was. But apparently that's not true, and so I don't know if there's been extensive testing done, but I would be inclined to believe the people that actually play the track and say that this is actually terrain and not road. So not only is there, you know, like a physics change for me to improve on, but there's a character change as well, which is kind of interesting. This track, I think this is a pretty solid time for what it is. I'm quite happy with a 2:17. I know there's a Super Mini Turbo done here. I've seen the world records, the more recent world records. But again, I just haven't really played the track since before that was implemented. And so it's just older strategies. This track, I think, could have been so much more. Like what it is, it's fine. It is a decently fun layout, especially this section right here into the WMT. It is quite fun. And then you know, the charge jump shortcut through with the shroom into the rail ride, and then trying to get the trick off the very end of the rail here. It's quite challenging, especially in this blue fire section. You're going a little bit faster than you otherwise would be. So this track has its ups, this track has its downs. You know, pretty solid track. I've got a lot to come and shave off here though. So another track I haven't played that much. This is a track, moving on to Sky High Sundae now. This is a track that I really want to play more of. This track is very, very fun in this game. I know it's a glorified oval, but with the, you know, with the new mechanics like the rail grinding, and there is wall riding on this track. Like with all the new techniques, they drastically scaled down the verticality, which is a good change in my opinion. And it's not all like weird anti-gravity floaty physics like it was in 8 Deluxe. And I think all of those changes came together to make this track so much better than it was before. Even on Wi-Fi, it's fun to play. And the split path makes it not feel as bad of like, oh, it's just 2 left turns. You know, there's a little bit of player choice in here, right? With, you know, I'm actually turning to the right and back to the left in order to navigate the split path section. But I mean, this wall ride shortcut is so fun. Once you practice it a little bit and you get good at it, oh, it's so fun. Same with this rail. I know that the rail has taken all 3 laps now instead of this glider. But yeah, I mean, just this track is. This is definitely one I want to pour more time into. I don't think it's as up there on the list for me, but it's definitely not towards the bottom either. So getting good at this track would be just really, really fun, in my opinion. All the tricks would be, and it'd be really fun to try to do online too. Like, I feel like if you can get really, really good at this track, you can just break away and don't have to worry about anything. So 157.3, it was a pretty solid time. I was pretty happy with it when I said it. This time, this 221.9, I was very happy with this when I said it. You can see that my lap 1 is my fastest split in this run, actually. And so I mean, that just speaks to how hard this track is. And I think it's only gotten harder after the patch because of the strategy changes. This is the second track, I believe, that I've played since the patch dropped. Out of the ones that we'll see, out of, you know, all the tracks in the game. I think I've played exactly 4, and this is, I played Crown City, I played Wario Shipyard, I played Rainbow Road, obviously, and I played Cheep Falls, also, obviously. Although, I guess if this is your first exposure to my channel, you wouldn't know that, but I'll touch on those more later in the video when I get to them. when we get to them in the playback. So a 47.2, I think this might have been the best lap 1 I ever set while playing this before the patch. A lot of this looks the same as what we do now. I currently have a 218.8 just off of Worldwide Tops. And so, yeah, I mean, a lot of this looks the same. This is different, though. You trick off the right side of that tree now, and you no longer drift over that. You get like a hop off the sandbar, and then you shake trick in the air so you can trick off the pole. And ideally, you land far left enough closer to the rock so that, like, I don't know what's even the right way to phrase this. Like, you cut off more of the track. Like, I mean, that's what's happening. But I don't know. It's so much faster than the alternative. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, but to come back to this run, like, yeah, I've cut off like 3 seconds since setting this time, but I probably would not have come back to this track for a long time if there was no patch change. Like, I was very happy with this time. The world record was like a mid 219 when the patch dropped, and so I was like, you know what, I will happily take that for how hard this track is. I like this track a lot too, and so part of it is definitely like I wanted to be good at it because I like it a lot. But yeah, this is the run with, you know, it's still got mistakes, right? But not a crazy amount of mistakes. And for having a time set by early July like that, I was very, very pleased with that. Koopa Troopa Beach. Let me just take some water real fast. This is certainly a track in this game. I came back and played it enough to learn a sketchy version of the charge jump shroom. And so, I mean, that's what you're going to see on laps 2, 3, and 4 here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have a lot to say about this course. Is it the best SNES course they could have brought back? I don't know. Probably not. I probably would have liked to seen one of the Vanilla Lakes back instead. Or a Bowser's Castle. I know they just brought back BC3 and the Booster Course Pass, but you know, like an actual, like, not just like huge retro dump Mario Kart Tour style remake. Like an actual proper remake would have been very nice and very well deserved for the track. I guess I should comment a little bit about the shortcut as well. I haven't done a very good job commenting on the actual runs themselves, huh? I still definitely need to improve the charge jump shortcut more. Like lap 3, I think you saw, like, I landed pretty early into the grass, and by the time I reached the end, my boost was like entirely run out, and I didn't even get the large boost either. So I mean, there's work to do there, but I mean, I don't know. It's Koopa Troopa Beach. It's just one of those courses that I feel like you either really like it or you don't, and that's one of those courses that, like, I just, you know, not really for me. Faraway Oasis. This is a track that I would love to come and TT and get better at. I think this track's really cool, despite the fact that its mini-map is just mirror mode Riverside Park. But I think the way in which they changed the layout is really, really conducive to, like, I don't know what I'm saying. It makes the track a lot more fun. Let me just say that. Yeah, I mean, this track is one that I really want to, like, learn how to play properly at some point. I know Cheep's not the fastest character anymore, right? I'm pretty sure. James has swapped characters on this track so much that I don't even know anymore. I think it's Penguin that he's using now, but I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, I mean, like, just this whole sequence from the big ramp there, and, like, after the first helix, like, that entire rail sequence. I know it gets cut off a little bit now because you have the super splash, but that entire sequence is just very fun to play once you get good at it. And it like all the things in this game that like look cool, it makes you feel like you're good at the game, which is amazing. Like you want your game to, you know, feel like that. And so any track that really digs into that, like just this sequence is so, it's not even like it can be a little input heavy like towards the start, but I mean it makes you feel like you're amazing at the game. And so I mean it just makes it even more fun to play because it's like, oh, I wanna nail that every time. So I can, in terms of my own ceiling here, I can definitely push this further. I think I would have said that even before the patch dropped. I would have probably liked a 201. But, you know, I'll probably be able to go lower now that boosts have been changed. Going back to, I didn't realize how much of a roller coaster this, the middle of this, game would be for me. Koopa Troopa Beach, I was like, yeah, I don't really care for it. Faraway Oasis, I'm like, oh yeah, this track's really cool. Peach Beach, we get to another track, and I'm like, yeah, it's there, it's fine. I would have preferred to see some other beach track come back if they really wanted to bring back a beach track, which is something that we'll get to with Moo Moo Meadows later. I do really like this section. Section 2 is by far the best section of this course. It is very cool to see what they did with the, you know, the alternate layout. It makes the track a lot better. Specifically Section 2. Section 3 is a little hit or miss, I think. Mostly a miss, but I mean, you'll see that as we drive here. I'll definitely just cut that out of the audio recording. I could not hold that sneeze in any longer. Welcome to Drive Straightville. Across water. Easily the worst part of the track. The unfortunate thing is, like, I can't even think of... Well, I guess yeah. Could I probably would have liked to see something like Cheep Island come back instead. I just think it's got a more interesting layout. There's a lot more they could do with it, I think. Although the resort theme is very cool for Peach Beach, but yeah, not a lot to say. I'm not super excited about this track. Yeah, I guess we'll just move on to Salty Speedway. I was definitely just like done with this track when I settled on this 204. Oh, I mean, you can see from that lap 3 split. The lap 3 split is like what, 2 seconds slower. It's a second and a half slower than my lap 2. Like, it's really just like the gondola that's there right at the start on lap 3. It's like always in the way, and by the end of the session I was playing this, I was like, I don't care. As long as I get past that freaking boat, I'm taking whatever I get. And so I was playing this for a lot longer than I had anticipated. And I got like pretty decently good at lap 1 and lap 2. Like 41.4 is a pretty good lap 1 for me. And this lap 2 is a 40.6. Like, that's a pretty good lap 2 for me as well. This turn is quite hard with this combo. It might be easier now that they don't hold a super mini turbo out there, but the number of times that I just kind of like flew off of the outside is far too many. This track, I don't know. This track is cool. And of course there's the whole ending strategy change now. I have yet to learn that. But it's this boat right here, right? And so I don't even get back up onto the left side on lap 3. I was like, you know what? I got past the boat. I'm just gonna keep going, see what I get. And just call it a day. And you know, sometimes when you're learning tracks, when you're just starting out, I think take that as a good example of like, you know what? Sometimes you just need to get a time on the board. I could have been here for easily another like 2 or 3 hours trying to get a solid time on the board, and then I didn't even get that drift out either. I didn't even remember that. This is when I'm glad I didn't watch these in advance. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you can do better, but
you're frustrated with the track at the moment, so you just kind of take what you're given. Dino Jungle. This is a course I have mixed feelings about. As a TT, it's great. Online, I think it sucks. And I feel like on Wi-Fi, it's like you either love it or hate it. I don't really think there's an in-between. But to TT this, like, the strategies here are really, really fun to try to pull off. You've got, you know, that dinosaur rail ride at the middle to get, and then you get the forward trick onto the rail into the laboratory, and then you have the shroom. This track is very fun to TT. Also got to represent my boy Charge and Chuck. Best character in that weight class, don't at me. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, none of these are gonna be like stellar, perfect, but for what the patch dropped about 2 months into the game's lifespan, I think this is probably like a semi-accurate projection of what players were doing or able to accomplish 2 months after the game's release, with some exceptions, right? Like, I think my Salty Speedway time is very not representative of what the community was able to do. Nor is my Peach Beach time, nor is my, what else? Wario Stadium time. And my Great Question Block Ruins time, I think, is also not very well representative of that. Spezzy's an amazing player, so is Frisk. They are legends at that course. But yeah, I mean, it's fun to go back and look and see, because I'm recording this almost a month after the patch drop, and so it's kind of fun to go back and see where I was as a player, right? And how, you know, I remember where I stood in regards to the overall leaderboards, and just to kind of see like where the community was at that point. It's fun. Great Question Block Ruins now. This is a 207, which was... Did they have a 203? Did Spezzy or Frisk have a 203 by the time I set this? It might have been a 204. I don't remember. This track is fun. It's also decently difficult if you're going for all of the fast strategies. Like, you can see I don't do the ring bounce there, because I'm like, it's just not worth it for me to learn that. The next time I come back to the track, I probably will learn it, because I've kind of taken on, at least with how I have chosen to play the game, more of an inclination towards time trials than, you know, Wi-Fi. And I know I've talked about Wi-Fi a little bit, a decent bit actually, in this video so far. You know, I haven't actually played that much Wi-Fi in, you know, the last 2 or 3 weeks. And so I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, Wi-Fi is probably something I should go back and play a little bit more of. And so, you know, just to keep my skill set up. But I really have kind of dug deep into that TT speedrunning role. Not role, but like path, I guess. That journey. And so if I'm coming back here, then I'm going to be learning all the fast strategies. I've already set a PB here since this. Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess I've set a PB here. So, never mind, 5 tracks I've gone back and played. But this one was just like a... You know, I didn't really change anything, and I was just kind of playing it for fun, because I didn't really want to play anything else. So I have yet to learn all the strategies, the world record strategies, but that will probably be my goal the next time I come back here. Yeah, so overall, very fun track, very popular, definitely learn it. Something I need to go back and do. Now, Cheep Falls. This is a little bit of a funny track for me, because I actually managed to get a decent number of world records here since the patch dropped. I set my first world record here with a 158.252, which I have, you know, I think it's the video I uploaded right before this one, which speaks to how great my upload schedule is. But, yeah, I was the first person to set a 157, And oh, it uses this strategy. Yeah, we don't do that anymore. But yeah, I mean, that's what I mean, right? Like, I have so much more experience with this course in particular, but, you know, like, with the entire game, oh my god, that ending. I just have so much more experience now that it's fun to go and look back and see what, you know, like, people were able to accomplish after X amount of time with the game, right? And so in this case, X is what, like, just under 2 months. So I remember watching Left's world record, seeing Left do this strategy, being like, okay, I have to learn that. If you've seen any of the recent world records, you would know that we do a charge jump after landing from the big waterfall, and then land up top, land up at the upper section where the yellow barriers are, and actually use the yellow barriers to kind of steer us more in the right direction. I'm surprised I actually got that rail grind 3 for 3 in this run. That's actually quite impressive. I think I remember this run being like 19th worldwide when I said it too. Like, this run is very much like not that good, but it just speaks to how inconsistent, if I'm being honest, of a track Cheep Falls is, as well as the number of people that really want to grind it. So there is that on the one hand, but you know, I think it's my personal favorite track in the game. I really like this track, and I am very happy that I've since gotten super good at it. And it's fun to look back and see, like, what, you know, I was able to do. So, very fun, very fun. Dandelion Depths. This is a track that I also really like. I like the entire Leaf Cup in this game. I think the Leaf Cup is the best cup in the game. They're all tracks that I really want to learn how to play, and play well. It's just, it's again, like I was talking about with DK Pass earlier, it's just really a matter of time, right? You pour your efforts into, like for me, I poured my efforts primarily into Cheep Falls and into Rainbow Road, and, you know, a little bit here and there in other places, but, you know, the longer the game's out, the more time I'll have to go and actually play every track in the game to a pretty decent level. So it makes me admire people like Logan who are able to just like sit down and play every track in the game very, very well the first time and just like commit to it right away. I find that very impressive, and very admirable, just because like I didn't really know what I wanted to do with the game when I got it. Like, I knew I wanted it because, you know, I'm a big fan of the Mario Kart series, and we hadn't gotten a new game in what, 2014 is 11 years, right? Deluxe is a port, doesn't really count as a new game, in my opinion, even though they provided content for it a lot later. That's besides the point. Yeah, so my big thing was, like, I knew I wanted the game. I just didn't know what I was going to do with it. I hit the rail. Oh, that's funny. And this turn is not very well done, but anyway. Things I can come improve on. That's the other thing. Something Diogo reminded me of recently is, like, anytime that you complete a run with something that you know is, like, not really correct, per se, or something that is, like, you didn't, like, fully get a strat implementation the way you wanted it, or whatever. If you set a PB with that, like, it's free time save for your next run. All you have to do is, you know, pull the strategy off and you're saving time for free. And, you know, getting to those later laps and practicing those later laps is very, very valuable in a T-tier toolkit. So, yeah, it's a very very underrated aspect of TTAing, I would say. Blue Cinema. This is a track that I played a decent amount before, you know, the patch drops. You can see that this PB is from mid-June, right? Very few PBs I have in this video that are from that far back. I think this was about a second off world record when I set this time, and I was quite happy with this to get a 207. I think what happened was I had set a low 208, and I was like, oh, I could totally 207, and so I pushed for a 207, and you know, set this time when world record I think was like I think Kai had a 206.5 at the time, or 206.7, something like that. You know, I was able to pick up on that strategy like relatively quickly. And I know a lot of these strategies now are not what are currently used, but for the time, this was a very good time. And I still am quite happy with this. I have not gone back and I've tried to improve it in the past, but I haven't been able to. I haven't just sunk my teeth into the track in order to really like dig down and you know, push myself even further. This is another track that's really fun. This is also one that I thought was going to be really popular on Wi-Fi. And so that was one of my motivations for playing it early. It was like, this track is going to get picked a lot. I need to know how to play it. Oh, yeah, and they do this, like, crazy, like, trick up the wall with that shroom now. I didn't even realize I hit that wall. Wow, okay. Yeah, so, I mean, like I said, like, there's obviously going to be like pretty glaring weaknesses with a lot of these, but you know, that's part of the beauty of early metagame, early lifespan times, is you push yourself for what you and the community know at the time, and then you know, we're gonna look back, I don't know, 2-3 years from now even, and just be like, wow, we did that we thought that was fast. So yeah, it's all very fun. Busanim is a track I like a lot, and I look forward to going back there, hopefully sooner rather than later. Dry Bones Burnout now with a 212. I think I remember thinking this was a decent time when I said it. It honestly kind of wasn't. I think world record back then was like a 209. Maybe it was a low 210. I don't remember. But you know, for the I would say for the strategies I used, like I don't do this rail, like that wall ride there, I don't cut this turn of lava off at all. For the strategies used, I would say this is an okay time. Nothing spectacular. This is a track that I found that I'm a lot better at on Wi-Fi. And so, you know, I was picking it a decent amount on Wi-Fi. It would be nice to go and learn like how to actually be good at the track regardless. So I think that's probably one of the goals I would say I have for this track. Just learn all of the fast strategies, even if they're not practical for Wi-Fi. You know, like yeah, I might commit to not going for the wall ride there on Wi-Fi. I might not commit to cutting off this lava turn on Wi-Fi, depending on the circumstance. But it would still be good to know how to do it in case I find myself in a situation where, like, I need to, right? Whether it's for points or to dodge an item or whatever. This track is very fun. Very nice, very fun layout. Very nice to drive. I don't know if I have a whole lot more to say about Dry Bones Burnout. I think just what I said earlier, by, you know, run is okay for the strategies used, but the strategies used are very outdated and slow. So, I know I've said this already about when talking, my rambling about this track, which I have surprised myself. I've rambled for about 50 minutes now, which I usually tell people that I don't think I'm very good at rambling for long periods of time, but here we are. Moo Moo Meadows. Okay. As great as this track is, you know, it's a fan favorite, I get all that. I have never been the biggest fan of Moo Moo Meadows, even going back to the Wii days. I think it's it does its job. It's not a bad track, but it's never been, like, one of my favorites. And so to see Moo Moo Meadows come back for, you know, like, basically the third game in a row, not counting Mario Kart 7. Right, because there was a console Mario Kart that was relevant throughout the entire duration of Mario Kart 7's lifespan. Between Wii... There was 1 week where Mario Kart 7 was the only officially playable, like official online servers Mario Kart game. And that was the week between they shut down the servers for Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart 8 U released. And so we've basically been playing this track for, what, it has been 18 years now. People love the track, I get that. I just wish there was a different cow course. I want cow in the game. Like, I'm not saying don't put cow in the game, but the cow tracks we've played this one for the past however long. Moo Moo Farm is not a great alternative. I just wish they made something new. That's all I'm saying. I know it took me 2 laps to say all that, but you know, sometimes you gotta take the long way around, especially in videos like this. The shortcuts here, this shortcut is pretty cool. It's quite fun to pull off, especially once you practice it. And the cow bounces are all really fun too. So like, playing the track, it can be a little frustrating. Especially learning the shortcuts. Learning the shortcuts is by far the hardest part. But then once you get those down, oh yeah, and I go around because I'm like, it's probably already sub 2 anyway. I was just going for sub 2 with Luigi. Apparently Luigi makes the shortcuts easier, but I've also heard that Cow Dread Sled also makes the shortcuts easier, and it's better than Luigi for that. So don't use Luigi, use Cow Dread Sled. Or Cow Little Dumpy if you want to go really fast. Anyway, spiel about Moo Moo Meadows is over. Choco Mountain time. Wow, I didn't realize how much of a downer on the Lightning Cup I was. I've never been a big fan of this track either, and this version doesn't really change that for me. I mean, it's Choco Mountain, it's like kind of fun, it's cool, but again, I don't think there's a single bad track in this game. I'm not calling Choco Mountain bad by any means. But there are definitely other tracks that I think I would have preferred to see in the Choco Mountain slot. And, you know, I think this version is fun, especially with all the Chucks running around. I love the Chuck as an enemy, even though he hasn't really made a comeback in a long time. But, yeah, I don't know. This track has never really done it for me. I'll just leave it at that. I guess I also have the bias of being growing up with Mario Kart Wii, right? I'm not like I guess by today's standards I'm an old player, but I'm not that old. I'm not, you know, a 30-year-old guy who grew up with Mario Kart 64, right? So, not saying I have anything wrong with you guys. You guys are great. A lot better than the Zoomers of this community. But I say that as a Zoomer. But yeah, maybe it's just the lack of nostalgia that goes with it. I don't know. This run is okay. For the strategies used, it does a decent job. A 208, I was like, you know what, I'll take anything that's like a pretty decent time. And so, I saw a 208, and I was like, yeah, I'm happy with that. I don't really want to play the track any more than I already have. So, I mean, I'm going to have to come back and play this track at some point. But that day is not today, I will tell you that. So, yeah, that's Choco Mountain. Moving into Toad's Factory now. Toad's Factory is another fan favorite. I would say the track is good. I also think it's not the best track in the world. It is a classic. It is for sure a classic. It is fun to play. I would say I like playing the Wii version more. And I will leave it at that. Yeah, I don't know. There are some things about this track that are really fun to learn. Other things about this track, this turn is a pain. Like, if you're trying to do that fast, like, I don't know how I'm gonna go and get myself to learn that turn in the future. It does not seem fun, if I'm being so real. But, you know, if you want a fast time, you're gonna have to learn it, so... What do I have? I have a 155.9? I think I just wanted, like, I think I just wanted a 155 when I was playing this. I don't remember what the world record was at. It might have been a 153. When did I set this? July 23rd. So it might have been a 153 when I was playing this a month ago, but I don't remember. It's not as popular in this game as I thought it would be. Maybe it's more popular among casual fans, but I don't see it picked a lot in competitive lobbies. I have not touched the worldwide game mode in this game since 1.2, right? That's the patch that made it so random can pick the connecting tracks. So I have not played a single worldwide race since that patch dropped, and pretty much all of my Wi-Fi experience since then is through competitive lounge. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen this track come up that much, but I haven't played lounge in a while either, so there's that. Bowser's Castle. This track, I think, is a lot easier now. No, that's a lie. What am I kidding? I am very glad, though, that we don't do this version of the shortcut anymore. This version of the shortcut is by far the hardest, and it's a pain, especially on the old patch. This track was another one where I was like, I really am just playing this to learn that, that no item shortcut, and just move on with my life. Whatever I get is what I'm gonna take, so long as it's like a decent time still, right? So yeah, they don't do that shroom anymore. Instead, if you've seen, I'm sure you've seen Little Curbs' video if you're watching this one. If you haven't, go watch Little Curbs' video about how he got world record on this track. It's a very good video, very good watch. Yeah, so I mean, he introduced that wall ride strategy there to skip off that turn, cut off that turn, which is absolutely bonkers. Like, I have no idea how I'm gonna learn that when I come back to this track. It just looks insane. That shortcut has been made a lot easier. The one shortcut that I do before the shroom in this run. I've heard, and I've actually felt that it's a lot easier now due to the boost change. I think it could be that, like, the boost firing up faster means that you have some boost when you're jumping off the road instead of just relying on, rolling off at the last possible moment to get all the air you need. But yeah, I mean, regardless, this is easier now. And yeah, I mean, this track is very good. It's one of the few, like, hard runners in the game, which we need hard runners, which is very nice. You need something to pick when you're in first, right? So yeah, this is a track that I need to improve here for sure, right? Like, that run is okay for the strategies used, but I can do a lot more damage there. Moving on to the Special Cup, the final cup in the game. Starting with Acorn Heights, this is not the combo you should be using, and the reason I switched to this combo away from Twin Chopper is because I was like, I don't know if there's actually that much terrain here. Like, everything about what I know about the game says theoretically this should be faster unless there's, terrain. The rough road, which might be here. This might be terrain. Into this section here. I'm curious if the tree roots, like this tree root surface here, this one, is considered road or terrain. I don't actually know. I just thought that because it looked and drove pretty smooth that it would be considered road, but I could be wrong. So don't copy my combo here. Please use Bitty Bud. Please use Bitty Bud W Twin Chopper. It should be better here. But yeah, I have since learned how to do the shroomless shortcut there. I don't think it's used in world records because I think that's still just the best shroom spot on the course. Oh, I wonder. Although I don't know if that would actually be that good. I don't know if that would actually be better than still shrooming at the intended cut. You can use a shroom on the second vine there, and then right trick off the part where it bends to the left, and jump all the way over to the finish line. But I don't know if that would actually be a better shroom spot than this one right here. So I'll let the people who are experts at this track determine that. But yeah, I mean, this had to be a pretty solid run because I'm not using the optimal combo. I could probably come back and beat this though, so I would love a 159. I think that would be my goal for Acorn Heights, is a 159. Mario Circuit, the shortest track in the game. This track is really funny to me. I do also think it's the right way to bring back Mario Circuit. You know, you've brought back 1 in DS, you brought back 2 in 7, you brought back 3 in Wii, and then made it again for 8 Deluxe. So 4 is just 3 in mirror mode. Nothing really special about it, so why not just throw 1, 2, and 3 together and call it a day? Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say about this track. It's just kind of a, you know, release your mini turbo. You've got a cool, like, block shortcut here and there. Although, the one at the beginning and the one at the very end, I think I actually missed the one at the very end. And then this one, I think I just panicked a little bit. They're kind of hard to land, and I don't really understand why. That's what I get for only pouring, like, an hour or two into this track. But, yeah, I was angled too far to the left by the time I remembered that I was supposed to trick off the red block there, but, you know, stuff to fix later. And that's kind of that. Peach Stadium. 218.5. This was a very good time for the time it was set. I think it was like 13th or 14th worldwide when I set it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these tracks that I am so close to tops on but haven't been able to get it on. Now, I mean, 218's nowhere near tops in the current day, but you know, I think that if I, you know, like, put enough time into the track, I could become competitive again on this track. This track's pretty fun to play. I think part of it also was the combo is the same as Rainbow Road, and I was playing Rainbow Road a lot, so it just kind of felt a natural sidestep when I didn't want to play RR. But yeah, this track's pretty straightforward. You know, high-speed combo, a lot of straight lines. We only collect 1 coin. That's the coin that's up on this second boost panel right here is the only one you get for the whole run. And obviously it's not here on lap 2 and 3. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it makes it a pretty unique TT. It makes it the most like Mario Kart Wii and its predecessors up until 64. Which is an interesting, you know, it makes it an interesting individual level split. Very much focused on, you know, how well you can drive compared to a track like Wario Stadium where it's a lot more about, like, yes, you need to know how to drive. You obviously need to know how to drive for every course, but I mean, in terms of, like, the emphasis on Peach Stadium is so much on driving, whereas the emphasis on Wario Stadium tends to be more on, like, can you get all the strategies? I forgot I missed that edge trick. Wow. This is a 218.5 with a missed number 7? That's crazy. Although I don't even think they do that last edge trick on every lap anymore. And, you know, there's the whole wall ride strategy here that was discovered after this time was set, so that's why I don't do it. But yeah, this is a track I used to play a lot. I don't play it a lot, nearly as much anymore. But, you know, coming back and setting a new time here would be something I would not be opposed to doing at all. And now we come to the final track in the game. My 4:04:05 on Rainbow Road. This is the PB that was uploaded in my most recent Road to World Record video for Rainbow Road, which I have since put on a hiatus, partly because I got you know, really good at Cheep Falls. And partly just because, like, I had it in my head that, like, I wanted to upload bits from every stream that I did, and by the time I finished 3 episodes and I was behind on like cutting up streams already, I was like, that's just not possible. So I think I'll be addressing that in like part 5 when I eventually resume the series. But I'll have, you know, the videos cut up long before I post them once I'm ready to go back to Rainbow Road. So this run is very, very good for me. I mean, you know, I was competing with people in the top 5 on the leaderboard, top 4. Like a 59.090 for pre-patch is pretty solid. People were able to hit 58.9s by the end, but you know, I was very happy with a 59.0. And then this section 2 is a 51.1, which, you know, for dealing with the pace lock is a very strong section 2. This is actually my best pace into section 3 ever in a run. Like, there was a lot that went right here. Like, you can see how close I get to missing that coin. And then from here on, it's like pretty much a mad dash at the finish line. So much is determined by whether or not you get pace locked. That turn was very tight. I could have easily gotten thrown off there. That SMT almost sent me off the edge. That's crazy. 51.1. Yeah, so this is my best pace into section 3, which I didn't think it was. I thought my best pace was like a 267. This is a 270 into section 3. Turns out it was a 274, I think. So it beat it by, you know, 4 milliseconds, but still, it's an improvement. Section 3 is probably, would I say it's the most fun section? No, definitely not. I don't know what section I'd say is the most fun, but getting all of this can be kind of a pain. And making sure that you have enough boost from that Super Mini Turbo for the launch off the ramp. That section 3 is very good for me. The best one I had ever set was a 005 before the patch dropped. And so, you know, I'm going into section 4 on the best pace of my life. And, managed to pull out something that's okay. In terms of future endeavors, you know, I'll probably resume world record at some point for this. I would like a world record here, even if it's not more than 1, just because I poured so much time into this track. This is definitely the track I poured the most time into. But yeah, I mean, we're coming to the end of the video. If you're still here, I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope that my rambling was enjoyable to listen to. I don't think I've ever rambled for an hour and 10 minutes like this, almost an hour and 10 minutes. But I hope it was fun to, you know, look back at some of the time set before the most recent update dropped. Even if I'm not the best player in the world, right? Like, it's still fun to look back and see what people were able to accomplish and all of that. So with that, I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.